You know, when the Tecno Phantom V Flip came to our office, what I wanted to do? I actually wanted to use this as my primary phone. I wanted to see how a made in India flip phone that's available for under Rs 50,000 performs in daily usage and what that means for end consumers who end up using the phone. Was it a good experience? What are the compromises that you have to live with, if any, is what we're going to find out in this video. If you're here for the very first time, I'm Ershad. You're watching Trakin English, your destination for detailed, incisive gadget reviews. The first thing that I noticed while using the Phantom V Flip is how well built the device actually is, especially considering its price. Also, the premium leather finish on the back is actually a premium material. It's very comfortable and the phone is so compact that it fits really nicely within the palm of my hand as well. Of course, I've got a big hand, but it's very comfortable. Also, I must make a special mention of this case that you get inside the box. It's got an attached ring and I got really accustomed to holding it with my hand like this, with my finger propped inside the ring. And it gives you confidence of holding the phone, especially when you're taking it outside and walking. You know for a fact that this phone is not going to fall down. Very well done, Tecno. But what's important for a foldable device is the quality of the hinge. Now, this is a self-developed hinge made of steel and Tecno promises 2 lakh opening and folding cycles. Also, the folding mechanism itself feels very sturdy. So flipping it open like this with one sweeping motion, I actually felt comfortable doing it. And when you look at it, when it's folded, there is no gap between the two halves. It's completely flush. Now, once you open it, of course, you get this big display inside, and around it are raised plastic bezels, which ensures that the display doesn't get scratched. But one thing I noticed is that when it's unfolded, it doesn't sit entirely 180 degrees flat. It's about 178 degrees. There's a little bit of a bend that you can see. Moreover, on the display, you can see the crease and feel it too when you're using it. Now, this crease, Tecno tells me, is 0.11 millimeters. And of course, it's very similar to what you get on other flip phones as well. So I'm guessing the engineering hasn't reached there yet for this crease to become entirely invisible. But one thing to note is that the Tecno Phantom V Fold can actually hold its position anywhere between 30 degrees to 150 degrees. Alright, now let's talk about the display on the Tecno Phantom V Fold. It's a 6.9-inch display, and one thing that I was constantly worried about is if that plastic screen protector on top of the display will become smudged very easily. But thankfully, that's not really the case. It doesn't smudge as easily as other flip phones that I've used. Alright, now on the outside, you got this 1.32-inch round AMOLED display, and it has a 60 Hz refresh rate as well. Now, one thing to note is that this display cannot run full screen apps, but you have a bunch of useful widgets. For example, you can set a stopwatch or a timer, you can also see weather updates, and you can also record your voice. And fun fact, while I was actually using the phone, I was using voice recording so that I can take notes for my scripts later. And of course, there are these playful pets that you can have on the screen, those live animated ones. Look damn cool. I have a dog on my screen, a husky, very cute. But the main use for this outer display would be for the camera itself. Of course, you can use it as your viewfinder. Now, if you look at it, the flash is at the bottom at about 6 o'clock, and from 3:30 to 4 o'clock, you've got those two, camera modules as well, the primary and the ultra wide. Honestly, I like the design. It's kind of neat. You can use it to take selfies with the primary camera. You can also take portraits. You can also shoot videos. But there was a functional problem that I noticed when I was using the phone is that since the shutter button is on the display, sometimes it so happens that when you're reaching the shutter button, you block the camera itself. So if you end up buying the phone, remember to use the volume button to take pictures. Also, if you're wondering if you can use the ultra wide angle camera, well, you cannot do that for taking pictures using the viewfinder on the outer display, which would have been helpful actually. Maybe Tecno can bring that capability in a software update in the future. That'd be great. Now, moving on to the inner display, it's a 6.9-inch AMOLED display, 120 Hz refresh rate. You can switch between 60, 90, 120 depending on what you prefer, and it's a pixel dense display as well. You get a PPI of 413, and it has a great screen to body ratio as well of 94.5%. As for the rest of the technical capabilities of the display, you can reach a peak brightness of 1000 nits, and the PWM dimming rating is also 1440 Hz. If you have eyes that are sensitive to low light flicker on high refresh rate displays, then that wouldn't be a concern on the Phantom V Flip, which is a very good thing. And this is a very bright, colorful panel that when you take it outdoors, it's actually very visible too. And considering the fact that it doesn't smudge up easily, outdoor visibility is pretty good too. Color reproduction wise, what I noticed on the display is that it's punchy and it's vibrant and it's very colorful. That is what a lot of people prefer. But if you want a little more, closer to accurate colors, then you have to switch to the original mode. By the way, one thing to note is that you do get wideband L1 certification, yes, but HDR video playback is available only on YouTube and not on Netflix. And if you're buying a flip phone, one of the things that you would want to know is if the Tecno Phantom V Flip has any flex mode of sorts. Well, you do get a flip display when you're using it in a semi-unfolded state of sorts in certain apps. For example, camera offers it, the gallery offers it, there's a video player, and YouTube also has that capability. But one thing I found really useful is actually to use the camera in the flex mode because you can prop it up anywhere. I was propping it up in weird locations to take weird angles of photographs with the phone itself. Alright, now coming to the internal specs, the Tecno Phantom V Flip has a MediaTek Dimensity 8050 chip and it's got 8GB of RAM and 256GB of UFS 3.1 storage. It's a mid-range SoC, no doubt, but it's good enough for daily usage, especially considering how Tecno has tuned the processor and the software. What I noticed is a gentle fluency and the smoothness of the software experience on this itself. The touch response is pretty good and it's very smooth. I like it. So if you're using the phone daily for your emails, for your WhatsApp chats, Instagram, all of that, this phone works fantastically well. But know that you should not expect this flip phone to push graphically intensive games like Call of Duty or Genshin Impact to its limits. It's not a gaming phone and that's not what it's meant to do either. Having said that, if you do want to play Call of Duty, you can still play it at very high graphics and max frame rates, which is 60 FPS gameplay, so that's good. As long as you don't expect this phone to be a gaming phone and your expectations are in check, it should work well. And like I said, one of the reasons why the phone works well is because of the well-tuned software itself. It's running iOS 13.5 based on Android 13, and what Tecno promises is 2 years of software updates and 3 years of security updates as well. The very first thing that I want to say is that bloatware has been kept to a minimum. This is one of the cleanest installs of iOS on a Tecno phone, which I really appreciate. Plus, there are many useful software features. Interestingly, you've got an Ella voice assistant which works really well and it uses open AI models. You can also run dual apps for WhatsApp and Facebook, so if you have dual accounts, you can use that in separate apps. The peak-proof display actually lets you gray out a part of the display that you don't want the others to see, which I found really useful actually. And the social turbo feature is actually great for WhatsApp users because it lets you record voice calls and video calls. It also enables video retouching features and even offers flashlight notification for incoming WhatsApp calls. So of course, software experience was good on the Tecno Phantom V Flip, but what I'm also happy about is the network experience. So I'd taken it to the Andamans and I tried, Airtel and Jio on this, and they worked absolutely fine. It was latching onto network without any problem. What I was also surprised by is the longevity of the battery on this thing. The 4000 mAh battery is actually fairly well tuned. So you can expect about 5 hours of screen on time, and it can last you one day if you're using it moderately, for sure. And the reason for that is that the MediaTek Dimensity 8050 is actually a very efficient processor, and since it's a mid-range processor, it doesn't ask for so much power, so it lasts you well. But I feel that the standby battery drain could have been slightly better. Maybe, a software update can fix that. And thanks to the fairly fast 45-watt fast charging support with the charger inside the box, you can charge this phone in under an hour from 0 to 100. That shouldn't be a problem. Alright, let's talk about the cameras now. You've got a 64MP primary camera and a 13 megapixel ultra wide, and on the front you've got a 32 megapixel selfie camera. If I have to be candid, I wasn't expecting great performance from the cameras themselves, but the primary camera kind of surprised me with the kind of results that I got with it. So the color sense was particularly good with close to natural colors, and the skin tones were especially well done too. You can take a look at these pictures and they are proof. I was also pleasantly surprised at the HDR performance, where you get enough amount of control over very harsh highlights and good details in the shadows too. And most importantly, the night mode pictures came out satisfactorily good. But Tecno can definitely improve in the portrait performance and in pulling out more details from primary camera pictures. Selfie camera is wide and it offers good skin tones, but the HDR selfies and portrait selfies could have been better. Ultrawide is sharp enough in daylight, but the color sense consistency with the primary camera was missing. As for the video recording, you can shoot 4K 30fps videos, and if you want to shoot HDR videos, you can shoot it at 1080p 30fps. But there is this ultra steady mode in which the EIS performance is enhanced. You can shoot at 1080p 30fps, and the kind of stabilization seems good. Take a look at it for yourself and let me know what you guys think. The front camera lets you shoot at 2K 30fps, which is not too bad. It is better than many other phones which do only 1080p 30fps. So overall, take a look at the pictures and the videos and let me know what you guys think. And what I'll do is I'll add a G Drive link with all the samples in the description below. Go check it out for yourself. So after using the Tecno Phantom V Flip, I am glad that Tecno's got the basics right. The design is good, the display is kind of attractive, and the software has minimal bloatware, and the experience that I got with it was pretty good too. And you have smooth performance for daily usage as well. Now with the Tecno Phantom V Flip, if you've been on the fence about buying a foldable and worried about the longevity and stuff, this is definitely a great first step to take, because Tecno gives you an idea of using one and, at a price that seems to be at the reach of many folks. And if you do buy a flip phone, it's always fun to do this and this. As for the compromises, I've already highlighted all of those, so take a look at it for yourself and figure out what works for you and what doesn't. As for me, I did like my primary phone experience with the Tecno Phantom V Flip. Alright, what do you guys think on this flip phone? Would you consider spending 49,999 for the Phantom V Flip? Let me know in the comments below. I am curious. There might be people who are interested in buying this phone as well. Alright, while I wait for your comments, I'll see you guys in the next one. Until then, keep tracking and stay safe.